Alright, so I was really looking forward to reading The Black Hawks by David Wragg, because look at this cover. It is awesome. It's so cool and stylized. I love the pencil sketching-esque design going on here of the Hawks, or the Black Hawks, as they're called. I think it works. My only complaint is I feel like we're missing Loveless on the cover, so it's just all the dudes. And I like a dude as much as any other dude does. Like, a dude bro is always a dude bro in my head, but would be nice if the other important characters were there, in my opinion, if I do say so myself, and I do. But that's beside the point. So the Black Hawks is the first book in the what's it called? The Articles of Faith series, which currently consists of 2 books, I do believe. Let me just check. Yes, it does. I don't know if there's plans for another one, but yeah. And on the story graph, it is a solid 3.5 or 3.6 actually out of 5, based on almost 500 reviews, which for a relatively unknown book, at least I think it's relatively unknown, that's pretty good. That is really, really good. And also, yeah, just gonna glaze the cover a little and say cover designed by Michaela Elkaino, and she did the design. The illustration is done by Richard Anderson, so great job to you two. It is absolutely a beautiful cover. Nearly no notes on the style, notes on the characters. So the pace has been described as nearly like a 50% fast and 40% medium. And I'm gonna tell you, anyone who thinks this isn't fast paced, I don't know what you're doing. This is a fast paced book. Is it plot or character driven though? It is very much character driven in my opinion. And it seems people are split because it's a 40% mix and then, a 36-23% split between character and pure plot driven. And I think it's very much characters. Mainly because I didn't really feel like the book had a cover or a plot for the first half of it. Is there strong character development? 50% of the story graph said yes. Do I agree with that? Well, I suppose in some ways, yeah. For the main characters, I don't even remember his name right now. Yeah, Chell, I suppose. And I guess that's it. Maybe the prince also gets a little bit of character growth, but it's mainly just Chell getting character growth. Are the characters lovable? For the most part, I think they're good. I think they're funny. I think they're interesting. They are a bit in the standard-esque end, in my opinion. In that regard, this is of course a scrappy, it's a lower class team of mercenaries, so of course they have the odds against them, but they all have history, and we're not actually friends because you shouldn't make friends in this, because you never know who's gonna betray you for money. Stuff like that. It's fairly standard, but it's overall pretty good. Are the flaws of the characters a main focus? Almost 60% said yes. I don't know if I agree on that. I think it's a focus on the character, of who they are. But is it a focus for the book? I don't. Oh, what's? I think there we go. I don't think so. I think very much the story is just whatever. I think it's tough to say. I don't know what's going on with the recording. Yeah, we'll see in a second. I think the flaws of the characters are very much there just to define who they are. And that's about it. I don't think it's there to explain anything else. And that's a bit of a shame in my opinion. Now, let's actually talk about the story. So, the story is following Chell as he is he works as a guard for one of the nobles, and the city gets attacked, and he tries to escape, and he kind of does, only to realize that in the wagon that he's trying to escape with, one of the princes, the younger prince, is hiding, and so the prince orders him to bring him to the camp of his brother, on the promise that then Chell will be free from, being in servitude of his noble leader thing. And Chell, of course, goes, sweet, we'll do that. But as soon as they get there, they don't really get there, they get kidnapped. And suddenly, the mission stays the same for Chell. Like, save, get the prince to the other prince, basically. Yeah, they get kidnapped actually after they're getting to the second prince, because Chell is then made to a defender of the prince or something, and they get kidnapped by the Black Hawks, and they're taking them somewhere. And that's kind of where, for me, the story turns into being just non-story and very much character-driven. To be honest, because I don't think they're... we never really explained where they're going. We don't... For the first half, I didn't feel like we were doing anything. And then the second half, I guess the third quarter of the book, I really felt, okay, I know where we're going. There's really a plot. It's picking up. Characters doing stuff. We're getting there. It's good. And then for the last quarter of the book, it really feels like we're trying to shoehorn in another plot, which is taking over the country from, the brother religious group thing that's kind of secretly controlled, plot twist, not real. Like, I don't know. It was a weird read because a lot of the character interaction was funny. A lot of the overall stuff was good. But I really like, for instance, every time Lemon talks to Chell, it's just awesome. Like, they end up calling him Little Bear or something like that because he's called Bear by his family. They're like, you're not dangerous. You're just a little bear. You're a bear cub. I think they call him Cub most of the time, actually, or Bear Cub. And it's really cute, and it's Lemon who starts doing that, and she is a great character, and I totally imagine her going full Scottish accent going on. So, for that part, I really liked the book, and every time that they had these character moments, I was like, this is exciting, this is funny, and then I didn't know where the plot was going. I would have preferred we spent, instead of having the last quarter being, let's try and take over the kingdom. Like, I think I don't know if it's correct, I'll have to preface that, but I felt like this part of the book, lengthwise, was just a second story. I would have loved if we got more time on the road traveling, getting to know these characters, getting some more character development from all of them in a way. Maybe Chell gets better at sword fighting and all that. Like, everything gets better. The prince gets a bit more brave. And then after, it ends up with them going, alright, we're gonna be planning to take down the religious order and help save the prince and all that stuff. And then end it there and go, okay, this is the mission. Hook for plot 2 or for book 2. That would have been perfect. That would have been great. That would have been fun. Instead, I felt like it was half a book of nothing, a quarter of actual what the book is about, and a quarter of what the sequel should have been. So it really felt like David Wragg wrote the first 3 quarters of the book, realized he didn't have enough material for a full book, but also realized that the sequel he didn't have enough for, so he just smooshed them together. And it's really sad because it has a lot of potential. It's when you pick out individual pieces, it's a really good book. It's a simple story. Get the prince from A to B. Everyone has urgency. The Blackhawks want their money and their reputation. Chell wants his freedom. The prince want to get, like, it's very surface level easy. And it just allows you to do a lot of great character stuff. And David does, or Wragg, does do that quite a bit. But should do more, but should also make it a bit more obvious what is the plan. At least I didn't feel like we were doing much of importance. Like, my favorite was when Chell, I really don't remember what the prince is called, Tafel and Lemon were stuck against those wolves. And they ended up using a sled to go down. Because Chell goes, oh, we used to do that when I was a child. That would have been great, getting more of that, more scenes like that, more like in the style of the, what are they called, the people who eat people. I don't remember the word. I mean, more with the, like that, like get us a third one or a fourth scene where we have a major stop or stuff going on. We actually had three, because we had the wolf stop, we had the people eating people, cannibals, there we go, cannibals, and then we had with the other mercenary group that knew the Blackhawks already, and then it fizzled into, you know, next book basically. And I felt maybe just give us a fourth, it would be fine. Give us more inter-character dynamics going on. We don't, outside of Lemon, I couldn't tell you much about the others. I mean, Loveless loves sex, but doesn't care about people. It's probably like asexual, but really horny or something like that. Like, we have, and that's about it. But we don't learn anything about them. But so spend more time that. You don't even need to add more stuff. Just let us spend more time traveling, learning people. Give us small things. Maybe, oh, we have to go hunting. So of course Chell is being asked to do it, and they look at him laughing, going, if you don't come back with food. And then, oh no, he meets a bear. Oh, the cop fights an adult bear, and then he miraculously, because Chell is really smart, he finds a solution maybe, and then he kills the bear, and he brings the bear meat and skin back, and everyone's like, oh my fucking god, what the hell, man, you are Bear. And then suddenly he's gonna be called Bear. Or maybe he's Young Bear now, or whatever. So it's like, you could do a lot. You could add a lot of small things. This is a pretty standard A to B story. There's a reason why these can work. This one cannot. So would I recommend this book? It's one of the few times where I'm gonna have to say no. This is a simple story and it's done better, but it has so much potential. My girlfriend asked me what I thought of it, and I said, it's, meh. And then she goes, oh, so it's a 5 out of 10. I'm like, no, it's more like a 3.5, because it made me laugh, but it wasn't really, like, I was kind of just looking forward to finishing by the end of it, So, and then she told me that's not a meh, that's just straight up bad. So, I guess, I don't know. Now I'm reading a book I'm excited for, that I'll positively surprised, so look forward to that. Yeah, anyways, that is my review of the Blackhawks. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe for more.